Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen alle. A beautiful good morning everybody together. Hi, so let's get it started. Wow, this was a week, right? So, we survived. We're all still here. Thank you that you're here today morning. And this is Blockchain 101. And I think the key message right away, blockchain is here to stay. Blockchain is not going away. Whatever is happening in the market, Avalanche is here to stay. We are here to stay. So real quick about myself, or better, the two versions of myself. So I have a Web 2.0 kind of traditional guy. You can find him on LinkedIn. He was working for Accenture. He was a managing partner for a Swiss asset manager, so always focused on the financial industry, all the more traditional financial products. And on the right side, it's my degen self doing all the NFT mints, and would be glad to get some new followers today. I'm also the president of Bridge Tower Capital. Bridge Tower Capital started as a private equity company, and with our first token investments, we more or less fall down this rabbit hole of running blockchain infrastructure. We now have 7,000 Ethereum nodes. In Switzerland, we have a very large Avalanche farm, and more things I will tell about in a second. The whole speech today, or the presentation today morning, I would like to more or less provide 3 points, and there might be multiple ones, but I would like to provide 3 points why blockchain technology is the fastest adopted technology in the history of mankind. And this is super exciting. I think that's the reason why we're all here. Technology is changing the planet, it's changing our lives, it's changing everything. And the blockchain technology is the most exciting and fastest adopted technology we ever had. And I also provide you immediately the reason for it. The internet was created to transfer information. If we today morning try to find the location of the venue, we looked on Google and tried to get the information. Blockchain is an additional layer. Blockchain is not only transporting information, it's transporting value. And this is a really exciting thing. It's the first time we can transfer ownership, or we can transfer value between two ownerships in a digital manner. And if the internet was so disruptive, it started 20 years ago, 25 years ago, imagine what the blockchain will do. This is more or less the kickstart of a global trade of digital goods. And this is blockchain 101. So let's look a bit deeper into blockchain here. At the end, we have 3 layers. At the bottom, we have the internet. All the cybersecurity elements, data centers, edge computing, 5G networks, also coming soon to Berlin. On top of that, we have the blockchain layer. And there we have more or less 2 different worlds at the moment. We have the proof of work. We all know Bitcoin. We all know Ethereum is still proof of work as well. And then on the other side, we have proof of stake. And as you can see, this is currently the exploding universe, with Avalanche clearly one of the leaders in the proof of stake space. And on top, we have the application layer. We all know the different terms. Web 3.0, DeFi, NFTs, security tokens. See, they're still a thing. So security tokens is really an industry in a sector we are super excited about. And at the end, this architecture we currently see is sometimes a bit surprising. It's not something completely new and disrupting. So blockchain is not disrupting the internet. It's just building on top. And I think this is an important message. We're always telling you this is Web 2.0. This is the old version. Web 3.0 is the new version. But this is not true. It's really a layered approach. And I think this is super important from a cybersecurity point of view, from a legal compliance point of view, and also from a user experience point of view. There's no Web 3.0 without Web 2.0. And like every network, like the internet, right? blockchain is software and hardware. It's not just only the software, you always need to have the hardware component. And this is, from my point of view, one of the key inventions Bitcoin started. Having this incentive mechanism to incentivize the hardware operators. You know, a hardware operator, they need to buy the hardware, they need to purchase it, they need to pay their electricity bills, they need to have all the facilities and everything, and somebody needs to incentivize them. And the incentive here is usually done by inflation. It's the same for proof of work, it's the same for proof of stake. Somebody, the blockchain itself, is issuing new tokens on a regular basis. And the whole idea, or the whole hope, is that the demand and the adoption is increasing faster than the token supply. It wouldn't make sense to have more supply of a token, but less demand, then the price is more or less declining. So you're really hoping you have more demand, more adoption, than you have token supply. This is currently the case for Bitcoin, it's the case for Avalanche, Ethereum, and so on. We see some Web 3.0 projects at the moment, where this is not the case. Usually, and it's the same for PayPal. You know, PayPal, our friend Elon Musk, he was giving away US dollars at the beginning to incentivize people using their system. It's similar here. The inflation rate at the beginning is a bit higher to incentivize people coming into the network, building on top, and using it. Proof of work, especially here in Germany. Germany is very focused on green, carbon neutral technology, right? And Bitcoin is clearly marked as the evil, energy consuming, bad technology. It might be true, but it's changing. And it's changing dramatically. And the reason being is, again, an incentive, because energy is very expensive. So a lot of the crypto miners, they moved to locations where you have an abundance of energy. This is usually hydropower. And as you can see in this very small image on the right top corner, you have this abundance of energy also in regions on the planet where you have cooler climate conditions. Canada, for example, or even somewhere in Russia still. So there you have an abundance of hydropower, cheap energy, the climate conditions are great, and we currently see this migration of crypto miners to this more energy efficient locations. Texas is also one of the leading locations at the moment. The reason being is wind energy. Texas is having an abundance of wind energy. So the whole proof of work and high performance computing industry is becoming very more efficient day by day, and therefore also more energy friendly and carbon neutral. There's a second reason. I mentioned Elon Musk. With his Starlink infrastructure he is currently starting, and I think he's still shooting up 60 satellites per month. We have the possibility to go even further north. Normally the connectivity for everything you're doing in high performance computing is super critical. With this, orbital based infrastructure now, we can go further north. That means the whole energy efficiency will increase as well. And we need HPC for all the drones, IoTs, for all the data analytics we need to process in the future. Nevertheless, proof of stake, 99.98% more energy efficient than proof of work. That's a lot. And I think this is the main reason why proof of stake is currently declared as ESG friendly or compliant, environmental, sustainable, and governance. And this is important. It's especially important for the traditional investors. If you're a large asset manager or family office, you can only invest at the moment if you're able to tick the ESG box. So proof of stake will be the dominant investment area for the larger traditional investors. TPS, transaction per second, way higher than proof of stake. That's the reason why all the third generation blockchains are building a proof of stake. Best example, Avalanche. And then it's also the third point, it's from an infrastructure point of view way more efficient. I do not need to purchase all the hardware, the ASIC devices from China. No supply chain crisis, no chip crisis. I can use my very normal servers in a data center, infrastructure we have since years. And I just need to deploy capital. So for all the capital markets out there, proof of stake is way more attractive, so it's more efficient. And the interesting point, as it's more efficient, the network is also more resilient. Proof of work, Bitcoin is hard to attack. You need to have a lot of hash power. You need to have a lot of mining. Yet, proof of stake, if you do it right, is way more resilient. Quick note on Bridge Capital, what we are doing. I mentioned at the beginning, we are also running a large Avalanche farm, and we're doing that in multiple locations all over the globe. So our main location is in Switzerland. Actually, we have 2 locations in Switzerland. One is an ex-military bunker facility in the Swiss Alps, where we have all our keys, backups, and all the security at the end. And then we have a large facility in Zurich, simple to the fact for the connectivity. You know, I think we will learn later how Avalanche is working with the gossiping in between, so the peer-to-peer connection is super important. So Zurich was an important location for us to be able to communicate with Frankfurt and all the different locations. We are also expanding currently to Latin America. Dubai or Middle East is super interesting because we have data centers with completely renewable energy based on solar power, super exciting, and we're moving into Japan. And so we're building, and we have it, a global infrastructure of Avalanche validator nodes. So we are further decentralizing the network. We're not depending on cloud, so no AWS or Google Cloud, and I think this is a very important point. Last, we announced it on the Avalanche Summit, and I'm happy to share it here again. We are currently working on security. So we all know buying utility tokens is complicated from time to time, especially for traditional investors. So we are working on a security, a traditional vehicle, together with our partner Securitize. Securitize is the largest transfer agent in the US. No, the 10th largest, sorry. And we have Chainlink, BitGo, and Avalanche as partners working on the security. And investors at the end, they can buy this one packaged staked utility tokens, and they're getting staking returns on a regular basis. So I was asking the question at the beginning, why is blockchain the most adopted technology in the human history? One reason for it, the incentive structures. One example is also the look at the 5G or 4G build out here in Germany or all over the world. It's really hard for the telecommunication companies to make this capex, to build the whole infrastructure. Blockchain found a way to incentivize all these people to build the infrastructure for themselves, to continuously improve it. And so one reason why blockchain is having such a huge adoption rate, because the people are incentivized, the whole industry, to build the infrastructure. Second point, a blockchain network is a global business from the start. There's no German blockchain, there's no Swiss Avalanche or Chinese Avalanche, there's no, US Ethereum, there's only one Avalanche, one Ethereum. A blockchain is always a global business. This is an important point. So normally you have a headquarter, you have an entity, right? Blockchains, global business, everybody is able to join on a permissionless base. So we see a lot of the foundations occurring in Switzerland or Singapore or other very forward-looking jurisdictions. And I hope even the European Union will adapt slowly but surely. A blockchain is always a global business. And this global business have been growing dramatically. And I updated the numbers today morning. We currently have 1.3 trillion market size in the crypto industry. It went down a bit, and this is market, right? You know, we have an emergent technology. We are super early. Markets are fluctuating. This is simply the case. In in DeFi, we still have a huge amount of value locked. And the third number I was adding here to the slide is the connected devices globally. And this is an important point. We currently see blockchain used not only for DeFi and NFTs and everything, it's also used in connecting cars, connecting IoT devices. So this is showing the potential of the whole industry and the technology. And then we have the NFT market. This is booming a lot, right? It's booming a lot. You know, we have Paris Hilton on US television shows talking about her apes. We have a lot of US celebrities all showing their NFTs on Twitter. They have millions of followers. We had Mrs. Trump doing her own NFT drop. This is really an exponential growth of this technology. And yeah, I think the numbers, the current expected numbers of 80 billion in 2025 are still a little bit low. I think we see more and more use cases how to use NFTs in a more utilizing way of real-world events, tickets for events and so on. So yeah, NFTs are one of the most interesting use cases for blockchain at the moment. And I mentioned the Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 style, and I really like this picture. I was taking it from Twitter somewhere. Web 1.0, we all know it, username and password. Then we had the authentication methods, sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google. This is really the kind of default mechanism currently in Web 3.0. And Web 3.0 is this, I connect my wallet. That's it. I own my wallet, I have my private keys, and I simply connect it. This is currently the power of this permissionless growth of blockchain. Now I need to use the word but. I think we will see very soon, and we see it here in Germany with the MiCA laws coming in place and everything the Financial Action Task Force is bringing with the virtual asset service providers and everything, that we will need KYC. We will have whitelisted wallets. You're only able to connect your wallet if you identified yourself. I think it's a good thing. It's protecting users, and it's helping more or less traditional players to come into the market and offer their services on a blockchain base. And this is also something we are supporting. Avalanche is amazing. Avalanche is enabling the so-called subnets, right? So this is more or less a parallel blockchain connected to your main net. And we are currently also working on our own subnet. And we will use a private Avalanche subnet, so all the validator node operators are known. And this is enabling us to make a permissioned walled garden environment. So you have all your Solidity apps, all the code you know from the public blockchain and all the applications, but you need to do KYC. You're only able to get in, to interact, and to sign transactions if you have done your KYC check. We tested and started it with an NFT drop for Goya. Goya is one of the all-time fine art masters, and it was amazing. People are really willing to provide their KYC credentials to get something valuable. So I think this is something we will see more and more. So the second reason why blockchain is the most adapted technology in human history, global user base. Blockchain is a global business. You can connect immediately. You do not need to sign up at every different kind of platform. You can instantly have a global customer base. Third point. We all know, venture capital investors, they all know it. You have the S-curves. Can't tell you where we are right now. I would say we're still somewhere in the early stages, emerging technology. We're all very early. And it's just starting. We have a growth rate, and I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years, we will reach a plateau. The interesting thing now with blockchain is this one S-curve, blockchain technology, is feeding other S-curves. We see it in the IoT space. We see it in AI. We see it in microinsurance. Chainlink, one of our partners. It's amazing what they're currently doing with microinsurance. So they're able to connect all the IoT devices in the agriculture sector. They know precisely if it was raining here in this square meter or not. They connect all the data to the blockchain, and you have an automatic payout of an insurance policy. All done automatically. Cars, we all know. 100 years ago, we still had horses in Berlin, quite a lot. Then everything changed. We have now the cars. And in a couple of years, who is still owning a car? I don't own a car anymore. So the question is, who is owning the car? The answer might be it's simply tokenized. Maybe it owns itself. And you're just renting it. So blockchain is also enabling here a new way of mobility at the end. And last but not least, and I think this is the most futuristic one, the whole metaverse, right? There's a reason why Facebook rebranded to Meta. The blockchain was more or less triggering everything. We see that we can now own land, we can own shoes, digital, and everything. And there will be the metaverse. I was very skeptical, to be honest, at the beginning. Then I was at the conference and on the concert in decentralized land, and I loved it. I really liked it. It was a great feeling being more or less in the same room with these people and interacting. I really, really liked it. So from a more critical person, I'm now a big supporter. It will take a time. S-curves again, I think we're really at the beginning of that, because nobody wants to sit the whole day in front of a computer and watch a concert there, but it's coming. So this is my third and last point, why blockchain is the fastest adopted technology in mankind's history. It's an enabling technology. It's not changing everything. It's not, it's not something brand new. It's enabling other technologies building on top of that. And that's making things like the metaverse more efficient. The insurance industry is way more efficient with smart contracts, definitive truth and everything. And so we see all the enterprise sectors currently really careful looking at blockchain technology. It's mostly still the private blockchains, not the public blockchains. We are very sure subnets will play a major role, but it's an enabling technology. As mentioned, we announced on the Avalanche Summit together with Artimundi. Artimundi is one of the largest fine art asset managers and brokers in the world. They have masters like Goya, Warhol, and other ones. And we have now the first fine art NFT ever minted. It's on Avalanche. And during the Avalanche Summit, everybody was able to register. And it's the same here for the Avalanche House in Berlin. If you want, you can register and you will receive one of the fine art NFTs. It's an exclusive, super limited amount. And we haven't done any more programming. We will simply check who is registering today until next week, end of next week, is receiving one of the fine art NFTs. And last but not least, I'm really thankful for the Avalanche team also making this possible, and thank you very much. I think we still have a couple of minutes for questions, if there are some. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned adoption is a big thing. Sorry. So obviously adoption is a very important issue, topic. And I'm wondering, do you have any examples for widely adopted apps or services on Avalanche?
No. Short answer, I don't have that yet, no. I can tell you examples from, you have, there's an Indian version of TikTok, completely Avalanche, blockchain-based now. So this is, if you look at widely adopted use cases, you really need to look at the retail space, right? So you need to look at the social medias at the moment. You need to look at games, who is implementing NFTs at the moment. A lot of these projects started usually on Ethereum. Then the gas prices exploded. Nobody was really sure where to move. A lot of moved to other layer 2s like Polygon. Now Polygon, it's also Cosmos SDK based, great blockchain, but it's also suffering from its success at the moment. And now with the Avalanche subnets, we see the first games moving to Avalanche. We see a lot of projects moving from other layer 2s directly to Avalanche. I think this is just at the beginning. No other question? Then I thank you very much and see you around.